Well, it's Tuesday, and you all know what that means. As you know, NXT are in their go home show before we head to Stat and Deliver this coming weekend. Anything could happen. As for example, who will be facing, of course, Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker for the NXT title in this triple threat match? We will find out. As you know, Roxanne Perez has some huge words towards Lyra Valkyria, but will Lyra Valkyria actually respond? Who knows? We also, of course, got some interesting things going on. For example, the face to face between Trick Williams and his former friend, Carmelo Hayes. But first things first, we're going to be reviewing two Japanese promotions by the end of last month in March, featuring All Japan Pro Wrestling with Dream Power Series. This one is their final day for that or so, which is day 5. But the main event features, of course, Katsuhiko Nakajima faces the young wrestler Yuma Anzai. But the question is, can Anzai dethrone Nakajima? Which, of course, people are hoping that someone dethrones Nakajima. And then we move on with Pro Wrestling O with Star Navigation. The main event features Jake Lee, the previous champion, taking on Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., who is our current GHC heavyweight champion. Will Wagner be successful in defeating him? We will find out. And then, of course, we'll cap it up with some news updates with, of course, what's going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, and of course, interesting developments that it's happening in the world of pro wrestling that we need to address. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome, everybody, to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is the channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions from not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics like the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also do more news updates. If I'm unable to put it on this episode, I can put it on a separate video by itself. We also do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something interesting has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be spread upon. We also do the Nagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool stuff on this channel as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions are set aside. I believe it's time for me to begin with our very first review, and that is from All Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, All Japan Pro Wrestling with Dream Power Series Day 5. Now, I made a judgment call here because I did not see day 1 through 4. I was way behind, so I said, you know what, I'm going to skip it. Just focus on day 5 because day 5 has an important moment on this one, and I think many of you would understand why. Now, our opening match starts with the ladies from At Risk Girls. We have um, Kanamik and Koiki. They take on um, Ayano Iri and Miko Onoe. So nothing special, but it's great to see the Atwood girls are getting um, recognized in All Japan Pro Wrestling. despite the fact that, of course, that thing with evolution. But that's something for another time. But the match was okay. But I was impressed with Kaname, the way she was handling herself, taking on Eri, because Eri it has more experience than her, and it played out pretty well. But unfortunately, it was Eri who picked up the win by pinning her, and just like that, it was over. Our next match, we have a six-man tag match. We have Ryo Inoue, Seigo Tachibana, and Naruki Doi. They take on the combination of Fuminori 8, Seki Yoshioka, and Kaz Hayashi. A pretty good match, not gonna lie. I mean, because we've seen Seki Yoshioka recently in Gleed and Zero One. Fuminori, well recognized wrestler, if you guys know what I'm talking about. But it was Hayashi who picked up the win by pinning Ryo Onoi, and just like that, it was over. Next match, we have the members of Voodoo Murders, Toshizo and Kono, taking on Taka, Takaoi Amori and Kuma Arashima. I have to say the combination of Amori and Arashima is pretty amazing. I mean, these two guys are very a powerhouse duo you would have imagined. But of course, Voodoo Murders will try to use whatever tactics to ensure they win. That did not play out pretty well for them because it was Amori with the pumping bomber onto Toshizo, and just like that, it was over. Now, our next match, I don't know exactly what's the significance for it. It's an eight-man battle royale. First up, we have Yuma Aoyagi, and then the next person who was coming out was um, Rookie Honda. Now, Honda did not even showed up at the entrance. He decided to sneak attack Aoyagi just from behind. If you probably ask me why did he do that, simple. Aoyagi humiliated a Honda before because Aoyagi was a previous champion, and he felt in his way that he should have defeated him, but it never did. But yes, and then of course we had Okudo Omori, um, Shotaro Oshino, Hartley Jackson, Ren Ayabe, and Kento Miyahara. Oh no, yeah, and Kudashio Tokyo, Japan, better known as Ikemenjiro. But here's how the elimination went down. Kudashio Tokyo, Japan was eliminated when he was tossed over the top ring by everyone. Ashina was thrown over top by Omori after he low blowed him. Hartley Jackson was also thrown over the top thanks to Ayabe, which was very interesting. Omori pinned Oyagi, but Oyagi was pinned by Ayabe. So basically, you had a double pinfall in a very way. So Ayabe was smart enough to remove two guys, but Okudo was the one who was being such a prick when he trying to low blow his way out. However, um, we did see, of course, later on, like right outside the ring, Honda was being attacked by Oyagi after what he did to him. But yeah, but of course, it was Honda who was eliminated by the Ayabi, because I think Ayabi, in my opinion, is one of those wrestlers that want to prove he can get to the top. But I think he wants to do that by facing against the guy who's been at the top plenty of times, and we're talking about Kento Miyahara. And I have to say it was a valiant effort by Ayabi, but unfortunately, um, he ended up in a German suplex by Kento, and just like that, it was over. I do see that maybe a possibility in the future for Ayabe to reach the top for the Triple Crown Championship. Now, I'm not sure if he will be participating in uh, Carnival Champion, but we'll see. So let's keep moving on. Um, oh yeah, and I forgot to mention this event took place on the 30th of March at the Ottawa City General Gymnasium. Sorry about that. Forgot to play that out. Now, our next four matches are all championship matches, just to let you guys know. Our first one is the All Asian Tag Team titles in a exploding death match. I mean, I have to say this is the worst one ever. We have the champions Toy from DDT. He teams up with Asoshi Onita, yes, the same Onita that we've seen in the Dark Side of the Ring with FMW. They take on Dan Tamura and Hikaru Sato. Uh, I mean, it was a pretty good explosions, but I feel like it was the worst one in my opinion. Sato was the one who picked up the win by pinning Toy, and just like that, they are a brand new tag champ. Now, our next match is the All Japan Pro Wrestling World Junior Heavyweight title. Um, Rising Hayato defends the belt against Musashi. Now, those who know this or not, Musashi recently left the promotion Michinoku Pro Wrestling. Now he's been appearing in various promotions. It's rather interesting to hear that. Um, but it was a pretty good match. I have to say, this was a quite a challenge for Hayato. But Hayato was able to pick up the win when he applied a springboard moonsault onto Musashi and picked up the win. And of course, Hayato did a promo. I don't know what he said, but it appears that he got the attention of one particular person who was guest commentating at All Japan Pro Wrestling, and that is Kaz Hayashi. I think Rising Hayato has, in fact, might have nominated him as his next challenger. But if it is, I can't wait to see it. Now, our next match, we have the All Japan Pro Wrestling World Tag Team titles. We have Voodoo Murders, more consistently, the Saito brothers, Jun and Ri. They take on Hideki Suzuki and Suwama. Um, I felt like the Saito brothers in this match didn't miss a beat. I'm like completely was in awe. But however, it was of course Jun Saito who finished off Suwama with the Psycho Break, which is like a somewhat version of a choke slam, and became our All Japan Pro Wrestling World Tag Team Champions. However, in the post match, all members of Voodoo Murders were out in the ring. The leader Taro actually called out Suwama, which was strange. Now, those who know this, Suwama used to be a member of Voodoo Murders until he was kicked out. But for some odd reason, Taro actually, um, I did learn later on in translations that Taro made it official that Voodoo Murders is no longer exist. That put the other members like, what? And Suwama was like, why you're telling me? So for some odd reason, it's like Taro wanted to make peace with Suwama for what happened. And now that it's over, it's like, okay, what does that mean for the other members? But we'll see. Even Suzuki was like a bit miffed about Suwama shaking hands with the guys from Voodoo Murders, but I guess it's the charm between those two, but who knows? Now, our next match, this is our main event, the Triple Crown Championship. The young wrestler who's 25 years old, Yuma Anzai, takes on Katsuhiko Nakajima. Now, many people were hoping that maybe, and if some slight chance, Anzai can actually dethrone Nakajima. The reason is nobody likes Nakajima, despite the fact that he's talented. He invaded All Japan Pro Wrestling, and I think that was a bit of a problem. Nobody couldn't even defeat him, not even Yuma Oyagi or Kento or whoever stood in his way. But I have to say, Anzai, with all his heart, he took quite a beating from Nakajima, but somehow he was able to overturn it, then put it into a German suplex, and just like that, he dethrones Nakajima. And this was a shocker, I think, but the most amazing moment ever because the All Japan fan base were happy that Anzai did it. He dethroned the invader. So that was pretty cool from there. However, while he was doing his promo in the post match, here comes Rising Hayato, the Saito brothers, Dan Tamura. They showed up because these people are truly loyal to All Japan Pro Wrestling. And I don't know what they said, but I'm pretty sure they praised Anzai for doing what he thought was the right choice, dethroning Nakajima. And I think it was the best thing that these guys deserve. They wanted someone to get rid of him, and guess what? He did. A younger wrestler who pulled it off. He did that. So the real question is, what's next for him? Well, we don't know, but we do know. I did reported this about Nakajima. He has no further plans with All Japan Pro Wrestling. There is no. He has no indication of rejoining Noah, but there has been some speculations about him maybe going to the U.S. But we will see about that. But I have to say, what an event. I think it was fun. I think I enjoyed the main event because Yu Zai is the youngest wrestler champion ever at the age of 25. But we'll see what he does. I'm sure he will have plenty of challengers that will love nothing more to challenge him. But we'll see. I think that's pretty much it with All Japan. Let's move on with Pro Wrestling Noah. Okay, Pro Wrestling Noah Star Navigation 2024. This took place in Korakuen Hall on March 31st. This was a very interesting event. We do only have, I believe, one championship match. So let's start from the very beginning and work our way to the end. Our first match, we have singles action. We have Shohei Taniguchi from Riel taking on Masa Kitamiya. Uh, I have to say, this was a very interesting match. Now, Taniguchi, um, who, if you guys know, with Real, he was really, really a tough SOB. But however, Masa Kitamiya, who's like, he is also a tough SOB. So the real question is, how will this play out? I don't know. But it was, of course, a Saito suplex by Masa Kitamiya and picked up the win. And just like that, he becomes our winner. Now, our next match, we have a tag team match. We have Team Noah, consisting of Asushi Kotoge and Go Shiozaki, taking on Hajime Ohara and Takeshi Sugiura. Now, I don't know what the hell Kotoge was thinking. I mean, he went straight ahead towards Sugiura. Now, if you guys don't know what I'm referring to, let me do. If you're a wrestler, there is one person you don't want to get in the way, get into the face, and that is a guy like Minoru Suzuki, because Minoru Suzuki does not take that lightly. So think of Takashi Sugiura in that type of fashion. And little enough, Sugiura was teaching him a lesson by beating the crap out of him, even in the ring, outside the ring. But I think it was foolish enough by him. But of course, there's that whole part with the veterancy between Sugiura and Shiozaki. That played out pretty well. But in the instance, it was Kotoge who picked up the win when he actually applied the kill switch on Ohara, and just like that, it was over. Our next match, we have Daiki Inaba taking on Anthony Green. I have to say it was a pretty good match. A very tough one for Anthony Green, but Anthony Green applied an inverted DDT, and it was over right from there. Our next match, we have Junta Miyawaki, Alejandro, and Ninja Mac taking on members of Stinger, consisting of Daga and Yoshinari Ogawa, along with their pal Super Crazy. Of course, no one has been able to pin Daga just yet to hopefully get a chance of the GHC Junior Heavyweight title or try to dethrone him, whatever you want to do. I mean, I know for a fact that these three men, Miyawaki, Alejandro, and Ninja would have been a liable suitor, but however, it was Daga who picked up the win with the Diablo Wings onto Miyawaki, and just like that, he maintained the kingdom. Now, this next match is a bit of a rematch from the Victory Challenge Tag League. Now, if you guys don't know what I'm referring to, let me explain. Rohi Oiwa, along with his tag partner Keito Kime, were in a match against Yu Owada and Keno. Now, it's no secret that Keno and Kiyomiya has been going back and forth. Now, Keno has always criticized Kiyomiya as a fake wrestler, even though Kiyomiya has often proven himself that he is and that he is the savior of Noah. Keno has different opinions, but the one thing that Kiyomiya could not stand is the humiliation he suffered at Tagli. And what happened? I'll explain it. Owada actually hold on longer than he expected, and the match ended in a time limit draw. Kiyomiya was intending to say something, but he couldn't. Kano took great pleasure in that humiliation. Now, sure, Owada did a good job, but I think Owada really brought an impression on him, like saying, "Well, I can't believe it, kid. You humiliated this piece of garbage." So I think that's what makes Keno like him, because he knew that the time was limited. But however, Oiwa decided to do something about it himself. He decided to try to take out Owada himself, while Kiyomiya was trying to ensure that he deals with Keno. But however, Owada, he really, really impressed me. He went through hell with the Boston Crabs that, of course, was put upon. But however, it was Oiwa with a doctor bomb onto him and just picked up the win. However, in the post-match Como, Keno, of course, who I know he's not mad at Owada. I mean, I'm sure he's pretty proud of him that he hold on as long as he did, that he wasn't there to save him as he could have, because this was the time limit draw was a bit more extended than the last time. But Kano still wants a piece of Kiyomiya, but Kiyomiya's like, I'm not giving it to you. Sooner or later, those two will face off. Now, our next match, we have Oka Sasaki taking on Naomichi Marufuji, the genius of the Arc. I have to say, pretty good match for Sasaki, because he faces the guy who is one of the OGs of Noah from the very beginning. And you know that means something. If he beats him, he could be in a conversation for a title contingency. But however, it was Naomichi with the rolling suplex, and just like that, it was pretty much over right from there. Now, our next match, we have a six-man tag match. Hayata, Dragon Bane, and Alpha Wolf, Los Golpeadores, I don't know how to pronounce it. They take on the members of GLG, Tadasuke, Yohei, and Jack Morris. Of course, there is some implications here. Don't forget, all members of the GLG are current champions. Yohei and Tadasuke are the current GAC Junior Heavyweight Tag Champions. I mean, the Alpha Wolf and Dragon Bane could have pinned those two guys, but Jack Morrison is a double champion. He is the current GHC National Champion and the current GHC Heavyweight Tag Team Champion. But however, it was Hayata who picked up the win with the roll up, but he used the ropes for leverage to pick up the win. However, Morris had that look on his face like he was beside himself. But Hayata grabbed the GHC National Champion. I don't know what he said to him, but it's no but by the body of his language, you can tell he wants the GHC National Champion. And of course, Jack Morris accepted it, but he was completely lost his mind. He completely lost it. Johan Tadasuke tried to calm him. But of course, I have to say, now, you would say Hayata did something cheap, but it's no secret that it's not the first time he's ever used the ropes. So, what's new? I mean, he hasn't used the ropes for who knows how long, but it did help him. And it did put Morris in a state of what the fudge type. But yes. Now, our next match, we have this is our main event, the GHC Heavyweight Championship. Jake Lee, a previous champion himself, takes on Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. Now, since the start of the year, we know that Jake Lee wants to reclaim what he lost and try to rebuild. But this was one of those opportunities where Jake Lee will have to do the same, try to regain it. But man, he put Wagner through hell as well. But the question is, can Wagner try to defeat a much bigger individual? I don't know how he was able to do it. But of course, one of his main weapons was the Michinoku driver. It did not do any effective. But however, it was the best moonsault ever that made the final decision for him to retain the belt. I'm like, damn, that is crazy. So the obvious question is, who's next? Well, we don't know. Nobody appeared to issue the challenge, but I'm pretty sure there's plenty of them in line that would love nothing more than to challenge him for the belt. My, I think the one person I would think would definitely challenge him would be none other than Kaito Kiyomiya, but we will see who will be the one person. But for now, we'll just leave things like that. Let's move on with our last and final review, NXT. Okay, our final review, NXT. This is their go home show before Stand and Deliver. Now, our opening match is, of course, the finals of the NXT Tag Team Tournament for the number one contendership, who will be facing Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin at Stand and Deliver. We have team number one, Nathan Frazier and Axiom, versus LWO Cruz, Toto Cruz and Joaquin Wild, versus the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows. Now, these are good teams, not going to lie about that. But however, how will this gonna be? I don't know. Three ways are a bit of complication if you guys ever seen them. But I was a bit of surprised that somehow the LWO were able to take advantage after what's his name? The Good Brothers were able to apply the Magic Killer onto Cruz, and of course Nathan Frazier decided to apply the 450 splash, and they become the contenders to face them. Now there has been talk about that. What if the possibility of winning the tag belts? Because Braun Breaker will be heading to SmackDown. Well, we don't know, but we'll see what happens in Stand and Deliver when we get there. Uh, as you know, Lexus King has become a pain in the ass for many people, especially when he got in the friendship between Wagner and Mr. Stone, claiming that he knows what he's talking about because he is the king. But of course, Wagner will deal with them later on. Our next match, we have Fallon Henley versus JZJ. Now, as you know, Kiara James, Izzy Dame are dealing with wrestlers who, in fact, they are proclaimed as the future. They're trying to stop them from ever completing that. And Fallon Henley became like someone who they can rely on. But of course, they became friends with Jay Z Jane and Jazz Nix. All hell was breaking loose between them. Now, of course, Kiana James got involved. The hell got involved. But because of this distraction, Fallon Henley decided to get involved. And then, of course, Kiana James took a that. No, Jay Z Jane took advantage of it. Knee strike the family Fallon Henley to pick up the win. But as soon as the match was over, we did see, of course, how of course, Fallon Henley and no no what's her name? Yeah, Jay Z Jane was talking to everybody about how things are done here, about saying negative things about JCU. But however, DL had enough of this whole mess. The man in the match against them at Stand and Deliver. General General Manager Ava actually gave the go ahead. So we will see a 6 woman tag match. Fallon Henley, Thahel, and Kelani Jordan taking on Izzy Dame, Jay Z Jane, and of course Kiara James. Oh no, Jay Z Jane and of course Kiara James. Yeah. So that's gonna happen in Stand and Deliver. Sorry, my throat is dry. Now, Lexus King, he faces off against Von Wagner. Of course, Von Wagner, who, as you know, Von Wagner already defeated him once, but Lexus King continues to be a pain in the butt as always. Uh, but I did saw what Von Wagner was intending to do, and I think many people were hoping for that. He was going to put Lexus King through the commentary table, but apparently it did not go exactly according to plan because Lexus King applied the coronation, and that was pretty much it. What happened? But yes, now before our the end of this night, Ava Reigns went to talk to Mello about securing about their little face off they're going to have later on today, and Mello pretty clear with her about everything, so it's going to be okay. She did the same thing with Trick as well. So every form of security will be on standby. Now, before her going to her match, Carmen Petrovic was with Natalia. Then Roxanne Perez tells her, "Who do you to listen to her? I used to follow my idols, but not anymore." But of course, Carmen Petrovic had no reasons to go in an argument with her because she had to focus against Lola Vice. Now, you would think that maybe Carmen Petrovic would have had a better advantage, but no. Lola Vice decided to, of course, in her match, to get under the skin of Natalia when she applied the sharpshooter. Of course, it's a move that we all know where it came from in her family. So Lola Vice used that and picked up the win. Now, Ariana Grace, who saying that violence is not the answer. She's hoping to see what Gigi Dolan would look like now that she beat her. But Ren Sinclair decided to get in her face and give her a piece of her mind. Spoke the truth, but Ariana Grace was not having it. So basically, it was really funny. Now, throughout much of the entirety of NXT, we did see Dragunov. He went off to me with, of course, with the Don of NXT, Tony D'Angelo. However, they went to have this meeting at some weird location. I mean, have you guys ever seen one of those mafia movies or mob where you go to some place and there's let's say, uh, someone's cutting wood or killing animals? You would think, is that meant for me? That sort of thing. Well, you can think of Dragunov was in that. So that's exactly what happened. And of course, they had their little meet and they talked that this is all about the NXT belt. But the real question is, will Tony D'Angelo will be able to obtain it? We will see about that. Now, that moron Noam Dar and his posse, the Metaphor, had their little supernova sessions. Talked about had Roxanne Perez being there. However, Roxanne Perez gave her words until Liv Carrier saying that once she beat her, she'll be nothing more than a crying little bitch. And of course, she grabbed Roxanne and put her through the little table that's out there while Metaphor were enjoying see what they were seeing, despite of the damage. So I thought it was really crazy. Now, our next match we have Obafemi versus Joe Gacy. Now, Joe Gacy was making his way to the ring until he was viciously attacked by Shawn Spears. I'm sure Shawn Spears was not happy with the idea of his chair being stolen. And of course, Spears admitted that Gacy was not even on his radar. But however, the real question does tell, how would this condition be now after this beatdown? Well, the match didn't go according to plan, so the referee called it a no contest. But later on, we did see Joe Gacy went to see Ava Reigns. I know Ava Reigns can't stand his little craziness, so he asked for a match against Spears at Stand and Deliver. So I'm kind of curious about this match anyway. Now, our next match, we have Ariana Grace versus Ren Sinclair. I thought Ren did a pretty good job, but as always, Ariana Grace, who decided to cut corners, used the rope in her advantage to pick up the win. And I know Ren Sinclair saw that. The ref did not. So, but she said she's looking for Gigi Dolan's transformation. I highly doubt Gigi Dolan's going to do it because I just hope she just beats the crap out of her because she thinks violence is not the answer. It's all about the inner beauty. Gigi's not the inner beauty. She's not. She is already beautiful, but it's about who you are deep in your soul. Now, our next match, we have Sol Ruka versus Blair Davenport. Now, this was a match that's been 1 year in the making. If you remember a year ago, it was, of course, Blair Davenport who viciously attacked Sol Ruka and put her in the sidelines for a year. But, of course, Blair Davenport, well, she was not, she was like, whatever. So she thinks that, oh, just because you're back and this little surfer chick is back, so she thinks that she will win the match in some way. However, Blair Davenport was prepared with the Soul Snatcher because that is one of Soruka's many moves that she could pull off. But however, that did not go exactly what Blair Davenport go well because she rolled her up and picked up the win, and it was shocking. I wouldn't be surprised if Blair Davenport demands a rematch because that's what's gonna end right there. But we'll see. Now, our face off between Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. Now, Carmelo Hayes gave like a true fact. He questioned Trick Williams. You said you were going for the North American title, but you didn't. So he felt that it was really disgraceful of him to go for the NXT title, a title that he is trying to regain. So basically, that's. But of course, Mello tried to get into his head, but it didn't do any well because Trick is very hype for his match. But of course, like any type of face off, all hell breaks loose. Securities on both sides try to retain both men, but nope. Then the entire locker room comes out. All hell broke loose. Everybody who will be involved in Stand and Deliver were there. So it's going to be one hell of an event. So we'll see what happens until then. But for right now, I think we're done with all reviews. It's time for our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So, what we have right now for the promotions for their upcoming events, well, we mostly have the ones from GCW. So let's talk reveal about that. It was announced for their Joey Janela's Spring Break 8th on the April 5th. We're gonna have Gringo Loco versus Amazing Red. That's gonna be one banger of a match for me because I'm a big fan of the Amazing Red. You know, if you guys never seen him, go check him out. He is the East Coast version of Rey Mysterio. He like Rey Mysterio has the 619. He has the 718, which is the area code to Brooklyn. Then, of course, as you know, we for the WrestleMania week, the Indie Hall of Fame will be happening on the 7th of April. They just announced for their fifth inductee, and that is none other than Mercedes Martinez. So she will be inducted, and the person inducting her is Lexi uh, Fife. I don't know who she is, but yes, that's what they were announcing. And then finally, GCW did announce recently during their first show at the Hottest Block for Rochester that they'll be making a return, and it's official. They'll be making the return to Rochester on August 15th, so we're looking forward to that. Now, many of you have heard this already that the Motor City Machine Guns are officially now free agents from TNA. Now, PW Insider reports that some in TNA believe that they'll be making their way to AEW. I mean, that is a possibility because, as you know, recently, um, what's going on in AEW, they have the tag team championship going around. Basically, they're doing a tournament. I wouldn't be surprised if the Motor City Machine Guns do make their way to AEW if they appear with whoever wins the tag team tournament. That's going to be the match we definitely would like to see. Now, it's no Motor City Machine Guns are no strangers in Ring of Honor as well, so we could possibly see them in that particular place. But we just gotta wait and see. Now, as you all know, I did report it on a news update alert on a Monday that Julia made an appearance in Pro Wrestling Noah. However, Dave Meltzer made a very interesting report that is really, how do I say, that is a smart move. Now, you ask yourselves, why did Julia went there? And of course, Julia has her own thing as well. But think about it. Uh, this is Rossy Ogawa's move. This is his way of trying to ensure that maybe more intent. This is his way to launch the new promotion with Julia's presence there. She will be able to, how to say, hopefully get the people to pay attention to this event by Rossy Ogawa. So this promotion by Rossy Ogawa, and it's perfectly made sense. So Rossy said to her, "Hey, go to Pro Wrestling Noah and see what happens." So that's pretty much possibly what we could expect. Now, speaking of Rossy Ogawa, recently he had a secret meeting with at a Tokyo building. Tokyo Sports actually caught him outside of a Tokyo building, and let me pull up what he had to say. Yeah, this is what they said. Uh, that he says I could feel the enthusiasm of each wrestler, and we had a fruitful discussion, and I was convinced that this will surely be a success. We received a lot of opinions from the wrestlers, so we will take them into consideration and run a good operation. I will think we will be able to announce something within this month. So basically, this meeting went well. So whatever they talked about will be a good thing for this new promotion that Rossy Ogawa is forming. We will know more by the end by the name. Hopefully, by the end of this month, we will know the name of the promotion and all this. We do know that Julia will be helping out Rossy to get this promotion going. We do know that, of course, Yuzuki, Mai Sakurai, Mirai, Utami Ishida will be joining soon. But someone commented about this a while ago, saying, "Would it be interesting to see the other people go appear in other promotions?" I don't know, but we will see. Now, as you know, two names have been mentioned out of the wrestlers that were released from AEW: Gravity and Slim J. Um, they actually left something on their X account that I think you all should know. This is what Slim J said. "Thank you to the fans who supported me. My gimmick was trash. I get that. I knew that. My work wasn't though. I worked my shoot job uh, through both contracts with AW. My role there was to act rich, and I have always been far from the real promise that." So basically, he's willing to admit, yes, I didn't like my gimmick, but my work was not. So basically, we know he's a talented wrestler, and it was great that he is willing to say that, despite of all it being released, yes. And Gravity actually posted this too. I just want to say, uh, I would, I just can say thank you AW, thank you Mr. Tony Khan for this time in the company. So basically, he is grateful to be there. Hopefully, we'll see him somewhere, but we'll just gotta wait and see. Now, our current champion in Stardom, Maika, had a few things to say with Tokyo Sports, and this is one of she said. She mentioned that many of the people who were close to Maika are now gone. Himeka retired, Mega Bane returned to U.S., Masakura, Julia, and Mirai left Stardom, so there's that. She did say, this is for what she said for the ones who left. "I want to do what you want to do to the best of your ability. If you failed, you failed. You can come back until then. I will protect this place as a champion. If you have to, bring Rossy Ogawa back with you too. I'll take care of everything." I hardly think that maybe Micah has any position to bring Rossy back. I don't know if what's their name, if Bushiroad will want him back. That's the thing. But we'll see where that leads. But she did have something to say about Julia. Now, what was Micah's reaction about Julia's appearance in Noah? Well, this is what she said. "It is typical of Julia, isn't it? I thought I couldn't lose, but I just couldn't help but grin. But from now on, the both of us will be carrying something much bigger than the belt. We will compete with our own bodies colliding against each other. I will get fired up somehow." Now, that particular comment, you guys probably ask yourself, what does that mean? Let me explain this to you. Micah was not happy with news reporters talking about Julia's departing. Like, she looks at, like, sees it. It's not a big deal. She's leaving. Why you guys are making a fuzz out of it? And it bothered her, like saying, "Hey, look, don't worry about her leaving. Worry about me. I'm the champion of Stardom." She's like that. She's been like that. But now it's like the attention continues wherever Julia goes. Now think about the attention that will happen in WWE. Everybody will put their attention. I did state it. I feel that Maika will never leave Julia's shadow, and I think that is I mean, it's a terrible thing, but I have to say it is what it is. There's nothing that Micah could do. I mean, she's not in the same level as Julia. That I'm really sorry about that, but that's my opinion on that. I mean, Micah is talented, but Julia has, you know, the charisma and all this. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it right now with all of our news updates. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed this episode. Coming up, we do know we have AW Dynamite. I'm looking forward to it. I believe we're still continuing with the AW World Tag Team Title Tournament and plenty other matches as well. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But don't forget, this week is gonna be crazy. We do have WrestleMania week. There's gonna be a lot of promotions, a lot of wrestling content. So I'm saying this in advance that I'm excited to see how this will go up, but we'll just see what happens until then. But as I said, AEW Dynamite will be a priority. I'm not sure if I'll put something new before then, but for now, we'll just leave things as it is. But for now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.